right. Welcome to Leadership Forward, which is a part of Strengthening the Black Church for the 21st Century. We are so excited that you have joined us today for our Lunch and Learn. As always, we have some good stuff in store. I don't even have to prep you because you all know that it's just good. It's good every month. We have some great speakers. We bring you the best of the best. Okay. So today we're going to be talking about what leadership looks like for you and what it looks like in these trying times. Like it's a lot of things going on in the world. So I brought one of my friends. So I can tell you now it's going to be some good stuff. So get your pens and paper ready, your iPad, whatever device that you have, get that ready so you can take notes. And let's hear from my friend, Reverend Timothy Fryar. I call him Tim, but I think his name is really Timothy. But as he comes on, I just want you to know how amazing he is. He's based out of Atlanta. His congregation of church is called Christ Centered Church. You can find him. I normally let people say this on their own, but because I'm a fan, you can find him on Facebook and YouTube on Sunday mornings at 10:10. Is that right?
Yes.
10:10. All right. So as Tim is coming on with me, um, just get prepared, folks. Let's hear what thus says the Lord, a word for today. Um, and let's get ready to hear. I don't think I led with saying Happy New Year because some of you I have not seen this year. So Happy New Year. Welcome back. It's a new year. I hope you invited a friend today to join us. And let's bring Tim on screen so we can get rolling.
Okay. Thank you, Candi, and thank you for having me back this year to this lunch and learn. I'm excited about being with you. So let's jump in. So of course, when Candi calls, we respond, and Candi said that she wanted me to come back and talk this year. And so I said, okay, what we're talking about. And I started tossing out a couple of things. She was like, no, I think I want you to do leadership in the midst of change again. And I was like, oh, again. So we've been in prayer and laying before the Lord. And so this talk is not something that I've done before. It's something that's been created for SBC 21. And so when you hear it on TED Talk or on some of the platforms around the world, you'll know that, hey, I was there when he released this first to SBC 21. So let's go. Last year, I talked to you, and I think this out on your YouTube. You definitely can get with the SBC 21 staff to find out how to see last year's talk. But I talked to you, I gave you 5 nuggets last year about self-leadership in the midst of change. They were goals and visions. You got to get there. You got to go there before you get there. Self-awareness. You must know you. Self-correction and self-control. You can't seize a moment just because you see a moment. And we also talked about self-talk. It's okay to talk about yourself, to talk to yourself, and it is necessary. So this year, I want to go a little bit deeper in this self leadership in the midst of change. So I'm going to share my screen so we can get rolling here on our presentation. So in our time together today, I want to talk to you and bring a few concepts forward that hopefully will challenge our perspective on a few things. So I don't have to tell you that change is inevitable. However, change brings about different challenges for different people in different seasons. Okay. So with everything that's happening in the world, we are changing so fast. Things are changing like economy and weather. Politics is different now with everything we're seeing. We're hearing the word unprecedented more and more. Every time I turn on somebody's podcast, news, wherever it is, whether it's a major network or social media platform, we're hearing the word unprecedented because change is happening. Even in our world, in our professional church world, the church is changing. My prayer is that you have prophetic insight, or even if you don't have prophetic insight, your ears are open to hear prophetic utterance from the prophets that operate today. So the question is not whether things will change or is change really a thing. The question really is, how are you leading yourself in the midst of change? That's the question. How are you leading yourself in the midst of change? My pastor says this, that you are the most consequential person that you'll ever lead. That's you. You. And I think because leadership, the platform of leadership is so huge these days and lucrative, we talk about leadership, and oftentimes the talking head, which is what I am today, that talk about leadership, we don't often talk about it from self-leadership or self-discipline. But we do understand that self-control is a fruit of the Spirit. And really, be qualified to lead others, you got to be able to lead yourself. That's huge. All right? So then, I want to submit some principles to you today for you to consider that will help you, I believe, lead yourself while change is constantly happening. Okay? How are we going to do this? I want to lift up 3 notions. I'm going to give them to you today, and then we'll go back and dissect each of them. Okay? The first one I want you to consider, if you're going to lead yourself while change is happening, you got to embrace tunnel vision. You have to release, and I said have to, I'm intentional with my words. You have to release the myth of balance. And then thirdly, you have to engage the tool of fullness. All right, so you got to release, you got to embrace, release, engage. Let's jump in. So let's talk about tunnel vision for a little bit. This first one, let's unpack it. Tunnel vision is a principle that's often looked at as a negative concept, okay? It's considered negative because it represents an overly narrow view on a single point, okay? We talk to people that say, no, you got blinders on, you're not seeing the big picture. And that's another thing, that tunnel vision is really a thing, optically, but it causes people to neglect the important information and they miss the bigger picture. Oftentimes, tunnel vision leads to poor decision making because, again, we're not aware of the whole situation. But I want to submit to you that tunnel vision can be used as a strategy to manage yourself, to self-lead, okay? So when tunnel vision is properly applied, it can be a superpower. Now, if you're writing, I need you to write this down, that tunnel vision can be a superpower. And I'm going to unpack some of this for us today, all right? Because tunnel vision, when used properly, can drive focus, cuts out distractions, and it fosters integral, how do I say that word? Integral and intentional growth is what tunnel vision does. So let's jump in a little deeper here. Let's do a practical breakdown of tunnel vision, okay? So now, tunnel vision, when we use it as a strategy, forces you to define what matters most. Okay? In a day like we live in, the way we deal with life, tunnel vision will help us say this is important, this is not. There are so many things bombarding us at one time. It happens every time. It happens every time. Like, so how about this? How about you say, oh, let me look that up. But when you pick up your phone, because of notifications, my wife always says, I don't see why you have those notifications on. She don't have notifications on her phone. Because when you pick up your phone, because of notifications, because of other things, games or whatever, the thing that's popping off on your phone, you find yourself 15 minutes later doing something that you didn't intend to do because you just simply picked up your phone. And if you're like me, I ask myself, now why did I pick up my phone? I know it wasn't to, read this or to see this. But when we have tunnel vision, it forces us to define what matters most. All right? Like it makes you ask the question, what's truly worth my time, my energy, and my attention? When you limit that field of view, it eliminates the noise of opportunities that don't align with your purpose. Let me say that again. Because in a world where everybody wants to be the boss, I'm a boss. I'm out here doing my brand. What I said was tunnel vision helps you limit your view. And when you limit your view, you eliminate noise and opportunities that don't align with your purpose. What I really like to say and what I teach our church is really not your purpose, it's God's purpose for your life. And so I think it's interesting and countercultural to say that opportunities that don't align, because we feel like opportunities are amazing. Like, I just need this opportunity. And when opportunities comes, we can't close the door. Opportunity is knocking. I will suggest to you today that not every opportunity is for you. And not every opportunity will align with your purpose. Are you hearing what I'm saying? So, because I think I say this to people often, I used to do graphic design and I used to be good at it. I used to earn a living at it. But as I started implementing the strategy of tunnel vision in my life, when I get the calls now for graphic design, I say, no, I don't do that anymore. It's not that I can't do it. I still can do it. I just don't do it because it doesn't align. For me to give my time, even though I got paid for it and paid well, I understand that there's some money that I can't afford to make when I am chasing purpose. Are y'all with me? So then, Tim, how do I plug this in? How do I plug in this whole allowing tunnel vision to help me define what matters most? Here's one way of doing it. You identify the non-negotiables in your life. What's the non-negotiable goal? What is that? What should I be doing? This discipline of exclusion will cause you to grow. So you have to say, here is my non-negotiable goal. I'm going to talk to you in a little bit about how things change in seasons. I'm going to talk about that in a minute. But here, under this notion of tunnel vision, number one, tunnel vision forces you to define what matters most. Here's number two, tunnel vision builds momentum through constant action. Let me be clear with this. Momentum is not built by doing many things, but by doing one thing repeatedly and well. That's when you build momentum. Okay, you don't build, if you're a runner or a race, if you are a competitive runner, if you do races like in Olympics, you don't build momentum by running and waving. You don't build momentum by running and looking in the stands. You build momentum by doing one thing, and that's running. And for some reason, we feel like if we do a whole lot of things, I'm gonna get momentum, and one of these things is just gonna take off. I suggest to you that's a no. That's a no. Tunnel vision creates this compounding effect where small, focused actions snowball into massive results. This is what the financial gurus say to us. It's like, you want to kill some debt? One at a time, snowball effect. Take all the money that you were paying multiple, pay one, and then take that money. Once you get that one paid off, add to it. You understand the snowball effect. It is the same way in leading ourselves. And when everything is going on, when life is changing and family life is about to change next Monday, I believe the fact that regardless of who the person is, the fact that there's a new administration coming in, things are going to change. But things are changing with health right now. Things are changing with groceries. And I declare food is just not lasting as long in the refrigerator. It's going bad faster than it used to because things are changing. But in the middle of that, it's imperative that you get tunnel vision on the things that matter most so you can build some momentum. All right? So how do I apply this momentum thing to my life? Here it is. You got to identify the areas of life where you can build momentum. Self-leadership is an ongoing principle that we have to wake up every day and work on. You should be adding something to your life daily that helps you with self-leadership. And so in this case, when we want to build momentum through consistent action, you got to identify, what is it that I'm going to do to build this momentum? Okay. If you're writing a book, I know many people that are writing and have written and still are writing. If that's you, for an example, you're going to say, here's my non-negotiable 30 minutes each morning. This is non-negotiable. This is my time. Yeah, but how do I balance life? And I got kids and I'm trying to work and I'm trying to build a brand. And we're going to talk about all of that in a few minutes. Tunnel vision focuses your energy. Okay? You'll find that consistency breeds results faster than you being spread out too thin. Too many things make you weak. All right? So if we're going to self-leadership, if we're going to lead ourselves in the midst of change through the principle of tunnel vision, you got to understand that tunnel vision focuses you to define, or forces you to define, what matters most. It builds momentum through consistent action. Here's the third thing it does. Tunnel vision shields you from paralyzing options. When you have so many options, paralysis is almost inevitable, y'all. It really is. People who are multi-talented, multifaceted people, which most of us are multifaceted people because we were created by a multifaceted God. Okay? So let me stop there for a second to help understand. We often talk about talents, like, oh, you could sing, you could play, you can do this, you could do that. You just got so many talents. Everybody is multifaceted because our God is multifaceted. Remember the text? It says, behold, O Israel, the Lord your God, he is one. Okay, but that one in the Hebrew is not one singular. That word is echad. It is like one unit, one hand, not one finger. So God is multifaceted. We are multifaceted. So because we are multifaceted, it's important that we identify. Are y'all hearing what I'm saying? We got to identify some things that we're putting our energies to, because the world bombards us with information, choices, demands. I mean, since I've been here, I have gotten, at least since I've started talking to you 20 minutes ago, I've probably gotten 5 notifications on my phone. But if I'm just sitting watching TV and TV doesn't matter, I'll pick it up every time. But because I have resolved that the only option I have at this moment is sharing this information it doesn't exist. Y'all with me? Okay. Tunnel vision is not just about focusing, it's about refusing to engage with anything outside your immediate goal. Let me say it again. Tunnel vision is about refusing to engage with anything outside of your immediate goal. It protects your mental clarity. All right. So Tim, how do I apply this? The way you apply this is that you minimize your decisions in low priority areas. All right. For example, minimize your decisions in low priority areas like meal prep. Okay. Instead of trying to decide. So my wife, because I like variety. I'm like, I don't want to eat that. I want to eat this tonight. I got a taste for this. My wife gets frustrated with me. She's like, it's just so hard sometimes because I never know what you want. But if an example of prioritizing or dealing with a low priority issue is meal prep, where you don't have to think anymore about food. So you may prep on Sundays, I know many people do. And so for the rest of the week, you don't have to think about it. I know what I'm going to eat. So I can use that energy somewhere else. Tunnel vision. When I met my wife, she used to wear a t-shirt and jeans every day with her brand on it, her company, whatever meetings she had to go, that was her uniform. And for her, she was like, I do not have the energy to think about what I'm going to wear today when I have 10 meetings lined up all around the city. So I don't worry about that. This is my uniform. Are you hearing what I'm saying? This is what happens when you allow your tunnel vision to shield you from paralyzing options. I'm gonna let it breathe a second, because options will paralyze you. And some options are necessary in life. You got to have them. But there are other options. You could say, yeah, I don't have to have this. I can put this on, auto repeat, and I'm fine. So that way I get cleared up. Here's one thing I want you to remember. Tunnel vision, although people say it's negative, it is not a flaw. It is a filter. Tunnel vision is a filter. It helps you clarify what is most important at that time. Y'all with me? All right. So I told you I had 3 to give you today. One was to embrace tunnel vision. Here's the second one I want you to see. That we got to release the myth of balance. I know. This is the thing that I have heard and the thing that I have actually preached for a long time. Balance. And I have been over the past several years, reconsidering that notion. So I realize that everybody may not get with this, but I just want to lift it up for you to chew on. Because I realize I have the thinkers in the room today. So I just want you to just think about this. That balance, well, let me put it this way. Could it be, I'm going to go into coaching mode on y'all. Could it be that balance is an unrealistic idea because it assumes equal distribution of time and energy? But life very rarely allows you to have this equal distribution of time and energy. So Tim, if you're telling me that I need to release this notion of balance, then what should I be doing? Let me suggest this. My suggestion here would be that maybe instead of seeking balance, we embrace the notion of revolving priorities. Let's talk about it. Because to say that hey, my life is balanced. That says I can give equal amount of time to everything. Not true. As a matter of fact, why would you even want to? Think about this. We wouldn't have Michael Jordan in the space that we have Michael Jordan as one of the GOATs for basketball. If he was balanced, he wouldn't have been a great basketball player. If he was balanced. Yeah? Great preachers, TD Jakes, people like that. If they were balanced, because if I put a basketball in TD Jakes' hands, yeah, nothing about him makes me feel like. You understand? But if I put a Bible in his hand, if I put a rock in TD Jakes' hand, he'll preach, you understand what I'm saying? So I'm saying to you that the notion of balance may be something that we need to release, but revolving priorities is probably the thing that we should embrace, because revolving priorities says that we focus on what has shifted, because life is a group of seasons. Our day is a season. It's like, what am I doing right now? Right now, I'm doing work. Later on today, I'll spend time with the family. Revolving priorities. Are you with me? So while balance suggests perfection and consistent equilibrium, which I feel like doesn't exist, and trying to allocate time in every spot brings about frustration. When we have revolving priorities, we lock in and we say, this is where I am right now. I got to recognize that I got different areas of life, and all of these areas need my attention. So I can't say, all right, family, I'm going to have to be with all y'all for however many hours right now, and we're done. Getting everybody in at one time. No, I got sons, I got daughters, I have a granddaughter, and I have a wife. Even that revolving priorities. Calendars are huge in our house. Where you gonna be, who you gonna be with, what are we doing, and when are we all gonna do it together? Revolving priorities. But at the same time, today is a heavy production day for me. I'm in the house with you. Then the next, as soon as we're done, the next production is for church. So I'm focusing on what the priority is in the moment. Are you with me? Yeah. This approach allows for intentionality without guilt when something doesn't receive equal attention. Okay? When I'm at work, I'm at work. When I'm with my people, I'm with my people. Listen, when I'm with myself, I'm with myself. My wife and I just had the conversation this morning. And I said, we both have recognized that already this year is going to be very busy for us, work-wise. So we've had, in the last 24 hours, we've had two conversations. One conversation was, hey, we need to schedule time with this group of people. We got some daughters and some spiritual daughters that we're developing and spending time with. And it's like, hey, let's schedule this. When are we going to do blah, blah, blah? And I said to her, hey, let's not schedule that. Let's go ahead and schedule our vacation, all the family stuff, and then we'll schedule that around it. Because what we have seen is that we get so immersed in work that our resting recreational life gets put on the back burner, but we're consistently meeting needs of others, pouring into others, but we don't get replenished because we don't make it a priority, which it should be a revolving priority. When it's time to work, we work, but when it's time to replenish, we replenish. Are y'all with me? Yeah. So what needs to happen is we have to regularly evaluate priorities. Some stuff that we make priorities shouldn't be a priority. What is it that you need to focus on today or this week or in this season? Okay. Okay, Tim, how do we manage that? How do we manage revolving priorities? All right, here's one. Set clear goals. It's one of the things I said to you last time we were together. You got to identify what's important in this season and focus your energy on that. One of the things I said to my wife yesterday, I said we had today we were talking, and I've been taking my granddaughter to school early in the mornings. And so it's been working for me, though, because when I drop her off at 8:15, instead of coming home, I'm going to go somewhere and work. Because what I'm realizing is my house is comfortable. I enjoy my house. And so because my house is comfortable and because my family, I love my family, and it's warm and inviting, I'm less focused at home. I'm starting to learn. Interruptions. My wife will walk by and I'll say, hey, where you going? What you about to do? Instead of me staying focused. And then she'll say, well, I'm going to do so and so, so I want to go. And so next thing you know, work is put down and I'm doing this. But in this season, because I can already tell here in this second, third week of January that life is going to be full, I got to stay on top of my game. I'm writing more already this year. I'm writing more content than I ever have. Just in this alone, I've been writing. I've written 4 master classes this week, and today is just Thursday. So I'm noticing that I have to regularly touch my priorities and adjust my life so I can get it done. I set these goals. All right. Here's the other one. Communicate boundaries. The conversation my wife and I had was a communication of boundaries. I'm not as focused in the house, so I'm working out of the house because I picked my granddaughter up at around 3. I have between like 8:30 and 3 o'clock to really get the heavy work done. So I'm going to be MIA. I'll probably be sitting at a Starbucks somewhere, getting the work done, writing. So then when I pick her up, because what I decided was maybe I'll just stay on the side of town where the school is, not drive back. That's a 45-minute drive. And then I have to drive back. I'm losing time in driving. Are you seeing what I'm saying? I'm setting some goals. I'm taking back my time. We complain so much in not having time, but the truth of it is we mismanage the time that we have. So then it's kind of like I go to work at 8:30 and I get off at 3. Because when I pick her up, get home 3:45, my mind is like, I don't really feel like working unless I absolutely have to. I wish I could talk to y'all, but I'm going to talk to you in a few minutes, so hang tight. So we have, if you're going to manage revolving priorities, you got to set clear goals. You got to communicate your boundaries, because when you communicate boundaries, it also sets accountability. Because now my wife can say, hey, you said you was going to be working. Are you just off today? Or are you being lazy? You being slack? What's going on? It produces that. Here's the third thing then that you got to understand if you're going to manage revolving priorities is that you have to practice flexibility. Be willing to adjust as circumstances change. If you're going to be one that manages revolving priorities, you got to be flexible because things shift. I couldn't have told you, 6 months ago that I'll be taking my granddaughter to school every day. But things change, circumstances change, and I have to step up where I'm needed. So when one priority shifts, others will shift. Okay? But I can't tell you that if I had balance, I could do it all. No such thing. Okay? Here's the last thing in that, and I got to get out of here. Here's the last thing. Under this revolving priorities, you have to be where you are. When you live your life with revolving priorities, this is in self-leadership, you have to be where you are. What does that mean, Tim? It means be in the moment. Be present. Come on. Our lives are not just busy. Our lives are distracting. Like while you're watching the news, it's ticker tape running across the bottom. The ticker is running across the bottom, and they want you to hear what they're reporting, but we also want you to read what we're not reporting, just so we can say it was said. But it's just like, really? So you got to choose one or the other. What are you going to do? Are you going to listen or are you going to read? But that's how life is. So we have to Be in the moment. Decide this is what gets my time right now, and it's going to get all of me. You can't say to me that you're in the moment with me, but you're picking up your phone every 3 minutes. Now, unless we playing a game together, that shouldn't be happening, because you have to choose to be where you are. All right. So I got one more thing. The first thing I said you had to do was embrace tunnel vision. Release myth. That's if you needed to see that. There you go. I'm sorry I didn't give you that slide. If you need, I talked to you about releasing the myth of balance. Okay, and really embrace the notion of revolving priorities, set clear goals, communicate boundaries, practice flexibility, be where you are. Here's the last one, and this is what the Lord told me to tell you. Faithfulness is the tool that you're going to need for the harvest. Now, if you manage yourself well, harvest is inevitable in your life. And this year, let me wax prophetic for a minute. This is the year of promises fulfilled. Okay? Which means there's a harvest coming up in your life. But not just this that I'm saying to you prophetically. I mean, it is what God has created, that when a man ways pleases the Lord, even his enemies are at peace with him. That produces, when you line your life up by self-leadership with the plan and purpose of God for your life, harvest comes. But God told me to tell you that if you're going to manage yourself well, while everything else is changing, you need to understand that faithfulness is a tool. All right? Faithfulness is the tool that you're going to know, that you're going to need to go get the harvest. Okay? That's how you're going to get it. The harvest will not reap itself. So here's the misnomer. The misnomer, when we start talking about harvest in the spiritual sense, we say stuff like, yeah, my harvest is coming in. I'm just going to sit back and wait. The Lord, I can see it now. The Lord, I've been putting seeds in the ground, and it's going to come up, and the Lord is doing what he said. He is a God of his promises, and it's just going to happen. Let me say this. It's going to come up, but it's not going to come in. You got to go get it. No harvest reaps itself. You got to use faithfulness as your tool to go get it. Are you hearing me? Rest doesn't happen until harvesting is done. So that means you got to keep working through. You can't stop working. You got to be faithful. And once we're done reaping the harvest, we rest to let the ground rest. And it's a season that we embrace. So while harvest is coming in, you're still being faithful and you're still leading yourself. As a matter of fact, harvest is a busy season. That's why I'm feeling right now. I'm like, man, I had so much stuff just this week because I'm in a harvest season. It's busy, and I'm going to be faithful. I'm not sleeping late. I'm getting up. I'm not lollygagging, watching a whole lot of movies. I'm getting this writing done because now is the time. It's busy, it's intense, and it requires intentionality, perseverance, and follow through. All right? Faithfulness starts with recognizing the importance of the season and preparing yourself to get the work done. What do I have to do? You got to identify areas of harvest in your life. Okay, what's bearing fruit for you right now? See, this is also a part of that revolving priority. What's bearing fruit? Because there's some stuff that you got going on the farm of your life that's not in fruit-bearing season. It's in development. So you may not be putting as much emphasis on what's being developed as what is full grown, and that you got to tend to make sure that the insects don't eat the harvest. Are y'all with me? Yeah. Okay. So intentionality, perseverance, follow through, recognize what's coming forth right now. So here's the other thing. You gotta organize your priorities. Set a clear plan for how to manage the demands of this season without burning out. Okay, organize your priorities. I got a lot going on. What are we going to do? Before I jumped on this morning, because we're in a 21-day fast for Christ in the Nation, my wife and I, though, we plan to have what little bit of late breakfast we were going to eat. We want to do it together today. And so that's what we did. I said, hey, I got from 11 to 12. I need to be plugged in at 12 because we're focused. This is the season for that. And my faithfulness is the tool. And I'm glad I'm talking to you about this because then I got some accountability. You can't see me being slack because I'm communicating what my goal is. Are y'all hearing me? So you have to identify the harvest areas in your life, organize your priorities so you can make the plan to manage what is demanding or what the season is demanding out of you. The last thing here is that you got to pray for clarity. Ask God for wisdom to recognize opportunities he's bringing your way so you'll have the strength to seize them. Faithfulness happens when you push through fatigue, distraction, obstacles to complete the task. Yeah, I'm done. Let me give you these 5 and I'm done. Here's our takeaways. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. I keep going on before my slide. There you go. If you need to write that down, I'm gonna give you a chance to look at it. If you're going to maximize this tool or embrace the tool of faithfulness, you got to identify the harvest areas in your life. Organize your priorities. Set a plan for how you're going to manage the demands of this season without burning out. And you got to pray for clarity. All right. So our 5 takeaways. Here it is. Or is it 5? I just got a few takeaways. Is this: narrowing your focus. I'm trying to read what's happening on my screen. Narrowing your focus to the essentials. You amplify your impact and lead yourself with intention, clarity, and purpose. That's your tunnel vision. Reframe the way you approach life instead of chasing balance. Embrace the freedom that comes with revolving priorities. The tool of faithfulness is how we bring in the full harvest. There's a book I want to suggest to you. It's a book that's called Deep Work: Rules for Focused Success in a Distracted World. It's by Cal Newport. My prayers that our time together has been beneficial, that you take some time, go back, listen to this again, and bring your notes up. Okay, Candi, I got Q and answer time. I left some time on the clock. I did good today.
Praise God. Praise
But
God. Thank
I knew we
you.
was gonna go deeper this year, deeper than we
Right.
did last
My
year.
I'm all running over on notes. So
Good.
this was great. This was great. And the chat says so. Are there any questions? It was so um detailed. Everything was so detailed. Are there any questions? I don't have any in Q&A, but if you have questions, please feel free to drop them in the chat. Um, but going back to balance,
Mm-hmm.
you were talking about the importance of balance. Um,
No, of releasing balance. Go ahead.
Releasing back. Okay. Okay. That's the key that I was trying to get to. It's releasing the balance. But for me, and it's so funny that you said that because next month we're going to be talking about work-life balance. So today we're talking about releasing the balance, and then next week is the work-life balance. But it also goes into the example that you shared about um let's schedule everything for the family and then the work. And so for some people, it's the opposite. I'm single, so it's work and then I plug in. Well, I take that back. No, I plug in my fun and then I try to manage the work around it. But I agree that this is a season for harvest. And My word for this year is thrive. And so I was talking to a friend about, no, my coach was saying, well, what does thrive mean for you? I said, well, it's a time of prospering, you know. But after I finished talking to her, I started thinking about it. And, the word thrive, people think, prosper, flourish, everything is going to be great. But we all know that in order for things to run smoothly, there's a time that you have to survive. And while you're surviving, you're learning. There's a period of learning and growing and understanding and working hard. So I say my word is thrive, but I don't know if God is finished teaching me so that I can get to that next level of prospering. So that's where my balance comes in.
Mhm.
So,
Mhm.
I was trying to follow you there with letting go of the balance, but then I'm like, I'm trying to balance the balance so that I can get to my next end.
Yeah, but I really think for you to get to the best thing or your next best is something in there you have to give more attention to and something less attention, because if we give the same amount of attention to everything, we won't
Mm,
master anything. You know what I
gotcha.
mean? So when
Hmm.
you get to that thriving space,
Hmm.
it's because you've mastered something that has opened the door that allows you to get into that thriving, space, if it's thriving in the conventional way, that we
Hmm.
look at thriving. I think thriving is really living our best through every situation for me. You know what
Right.
I mean? Living in my
And it's
best
for
life
me,
through all of it.
balancing is not necessarily equally putting the attention to everything, but it's figuring out what needs the most attention and ordering the goals. And I guess it's depending on how you define balance for your life.
Hmm. Yeah.
So yeah, that was good. We got some great comments, no questions, because look, somebody said it best. It was clear and concise, powerful and very clear, great inspiration and right on time. Fixed focus faith. This was awesome. Thank you for a different perspective on balance and redistributing priorities. Um, Particularly with scheduling, not around work, but more around healthy life needs. That's good. Great inspiration. Um, this is awesome. Thank you so much. I put the title of the book in the chat, Deep Work by Cal Newport,
Hmm.
if someone is looking for new reads. So, Pastor Tim, what's your word for this year?
My word is it's the not a word but the whole fulfilled promises that the Lord has said so many things to me, and I'm seeing those things start to bear fruit right now. And I'm
Hmm.
52. And
Hmm.
so now that's why I'm being so more focused in my harvesting time, because I can't get to my rest until I bring the harvest in, and I
Hmm.
feel like the harvest is coming up right now. So my thing is just, is this fixation on God manifesting his promises in my life, and that's just kind of where I am. So our church, we're talking about next level faith. We're starting our new series for the year in February called Next Level Faith. And
Hmm.
so that's where I am. I'm water walking. I'm water walking this season.
Amen. I love it. Carol says she done already got the book and put it on hold at the library. Uh,
Okay, cool.
Dr. Boy says we need a part three of this.
Oh,
Uh,
well, y'all stretching me. By the time I
Just
finish with
bring
y'all, I'm
on
gonna have a
some,
book though.
right, right. Bring on some of that writing that you've been doing. Just bring it back to us. We appreciate it.
Yeah, well, I appreciate you all having me. This is fun, and it's amazing how this topic, it kind of developed. Had a client at Southern Company, and they were like, "Hey, we want you to come talk to our team, about 90 people." And I said, "Oh, what do you want me to talk about?" And then she said, "This is the director of the department, said there's so much happening. I want you to talk to our people about leading themselves while our department is changing." And that's
Mm,
how this came
mhm,
about. And so the first one was for them, the second one was for you all, and so the third one will be the best selling, the final in the trilogy that'll give us the best selling book, I guess, and
Yeah,
managing
yeah,
ourselves. Because I think this is, listen, with I think where we're headed with the new administration, self leadership is going to be the key.
it is.
It's going
It
to be the
is.
key.
Hmm.
Yeah.
This is very much on time for me as I leave this weekend for a planning retreat.
Okay.
Um, so I circle my points that I need to add to my agenda for the weekend as I'm planning out this year, praying and asking God to give me even more direction on where to go and how to do it. This is absolutely great. Perfect timing, God. I'm not gonna say Candy, God, because the Lord sent me to ask you. So I am grateful for your prompting and giving us some good info hot out the press. We
Yes.
appreciate it.
Well, thank you all so much for having me, and I look forward to us working together soon.
All right, have a good day, everyone.
As the church, we are called to direct the thirsting world to living water. However, with so much going on in the world, it's so easy to feel overwhelmed, disconnected, and like you're pouring from an empty cup. At SBC 21, we are here to help you reimagine, revitalize, and repurpose the cups you pour from while providing transformational resources. We also envision a world where every church is equipped, prepared, and unapologetic in building the beloved kingdom of God. We strengthen leaders and congregations to transform communities through leadership development, discipleship making systems, revitalization, and real-time social justice ministry. Ultimately, we seek to make disciples of Jesus Christ to serve and heal a hurting world. So regardless of what cup you bring to the table, SBC 21 is here to help with resources full of living water. For more information, please visit sbc21.org.